see how the audio sounds today. All right, let me get this pulled up. Go to my channel. It's a little windy out here today. Check, check, check. It's a little windy out here today. Sounds pretty good. Nice. Also got on our new swag today. Nice Corona NA beer on a hot day. Okay, so what are we going to be working on today, guys? Today, we're going to be reshafting my irons. I've got these cool new ferrules. Sycamore said 5x5 here. Tell me more, Sycamore. Nice. So that's working. Beautiful. Okay. So we'll get all these guys ready. Just going to be going kind of step by step through the process, starting at the beginning. And take these irons off of these shafts, keep the shafts, put on some new ferrules. Got these cool green and yellow ones. And then we're going to be going back to these irons, these tailor-made blades that I played for a long time. We'll get them nice and cleaned up, looking sharp, ready for use. And we also need this pitching wedge, because that's going to go with that one. Alright guys, so the first thing that I'm going to do is just go one by one and mark the shafts with some tape so I know which is which. So this one I just grabbed was the 7-iron. I've got this blue painter's tape. Just make it nice and easy. I should try to move this a little closer so I can see what you guys are saying. River is here from Argentina. Very cool. Mucho gusto, amigo. These are C-Taper S Plus 125 gram shafts. I've had these in the bag for quite a while. Messi is officially retired. Is that true? Is that true? Are we learning that live on the stream? So this, guys, was the 7-iron. Just grab, write 7 on it. Even, go make it super clear. Just make a little tag like this. Get that on the shaft so I know this is the 7-iron. And we'll just go in order. So this is 5. Little flag. Pop it on the shaft. What I probably will do, guys, is just take all of the heads off. Nine. Do that step all at once. Clean out the hosels, get them ready and prepped. And then we'll just go one at a time, mixing up the epoxy and getting those new ferrules on. Okay, what else do we have here? Pitching wedge. The last goal versus Venezuela, next is Ronaldo. Okay. Alright, so this is pitching wedge. Starflame said hi. Hey, Starflame. Man, it is warm out here today. Bro got the Latin X shirt on. Ha. Finish your beer before getting warm. I know, I've been letting it sit too long. Yeah, this is a new shirt I got. Pretty cool. Excited to put this one in the rotation. Josh says, notice I've been getting a ton of back pain. Any recommendations to fix that? Is it a stretching issue or swinging too hard? Thanks. So I'd rather drink than beer. Well, I'm sober, guys, so I don't drink at all. So, can't help you there. I'm going to drink the non-alcoholic stuff, which is nice. You know, I can still be out here on a hot day like I would be having a beer, having a Corona. All right, so if your back's hurting, Josh, I think it's important to understand, you know, what's causing that. Is it like an injury, in which case you would need to, you know, rest and rehab it some, or is it more of a chronic thing, you know, maybe an imbalance in your hips or some tightness somewhere else? You know, and if it does hurt specifically while you're swinging, that could be an indicator maybe that, you know, something in your swing. A lot of times if you have a lot of, you know, early extension and tilt, right? You know, if your swing is steep and you're really trying to, like a Will Zalatoris type swing, you know, where his right hip's really moving towards the ball and he's tilting back and extending, right? That puts a lot of pressure on that lower back. That can be, you know, that's something that I myself struggled with. This here is the 6-iron. All right. And we're not going to need the shaft from this wedge here, so that's fine as it is. Okay. Done with these for now. I am going to need to run in and get a stirrer at some point, but for now, this will be fine. Okay, so heat gun, be very careful when you're doing this, guys. Lower back pain, most likely tight hamstrings. Yes, I agree. There's often, you know, so for me, when I was dealing with back pain that was really debilitating, I had to work on my hip mobility, you know, my glute strength, right? Really getting my legs and hips to be able to function and rotate properly again, right? There was just a lot of pelvic tilt, so my back was being asked to do more than it was really supposed to, right? You know, your legs are meant to really carry you around. There's a lot of big muscles there. Your back has, you know, some muscles in it, but especially your lower back, not nearly as strong. But if you sit a lot and sit all day, like a lot of us do, that can really cause issues, you know, in tightening those hip flexors in the front. So that's, I've still stretched every single day, you know, when I'm not under the weather. I haven't been stretching the last week, but I've been also, you know, not getting out of bed much. So you guys are, you know, getting me back on my first day. All right, let's see if we loosened it up enough. Be careful, like I said, guys. It can be hot. Yeah, not warm enough yet. We gotta let this warm up too, I think. It can take a little while. Okay, Jalen's here. What's up, Jalen? Yes, this is non-alcoholic Corona. Exactly right. Really good stuff. Should not let it get too warm. It is a warm day out here, guys. We are out here working on the clubs. Working up a sweat for sure. I'm excited about these new ferrules. Check these out, guys. These are cool. Green and yellow. These are going to look pretty cool on the old clubs. Better at Fortnite said hi. Hey, guys. Yeah, these are going to look awesome on the new old irons. Keep some of those there. All right, see it's starting to melt like that. Probably getting close. If you're a freshman in golf, recommendation for club heads. Well, tell me more, right? You know, how much golf do you play? What's your scoring average or handicap? You know, if you're just getting started, I would say something on the more forgiving side. You know, a cast iron with some technology and forgiveness to, there we go. Big deal. We've got a warm club head. I need to go grab another towel so I can do this. And look at that. We are free of that guy. I also need to go grab a knife. I'm going to do that and be right back. He's like, where'd he go? Where did he go? Hey guys, hey Liam, Liam's here. Making clubs. Yes, we are making clubs. That's exactly right. Just ran in to grab. Oops. I let it cool off a little too much. Oh, there you're not. There we go. All right, there's the old ferrule off. So we're gonna do that a bunch more times, guys. We're gonna get some sandpaper. We're gonna drill out the old epoxy from both club head. Yeah, it's still a little warm, but not too bad. All right, so we'll run a quick drill bit down the old ones, or the new ones, I should say. And that's it. We're gonna throw on these new green and yellow ferrules. Hey, Isabella's here, Demo's here, Jalen's here, Casper's here. Stinka said hi. Hey guys, welcome to the stream. I'm currently playing with 9 clubs at the moment. Well, you can use more than that. I assume there's a reason. Are you getting some clubs worked on, or just testing yourself? You know, I like going with a minimalist set sometimes. You can learn a lot, you know, if you go out there with like a 3-wood, a 5-iron, an 8-iron, and a putter, maybe a wedge. But, you know, 5-6 clubs, you can really learn a lot about how it, you know, what it takes to vary your speed. How do you still make good contact and take speed off? Long story, haha. When the patient woke up, his skeleton was missing and the doctor was never heard from again. That's how I lost my medical license. That's a good one. That got a proper chuckle. This also goes a little bit faster, as you might imagine, if you use a butane torch. I didn't have one of those, so I've just got this cheap heat gun. But it's getting the job done. Small but mighty. Threw a club maybe 11 times today. Okay. Well, something to work on, right? I think what clicked for me, I used to get super mad on the golf course too, is it actually just makes it worse. Like, you just will play worse. And once I accepted that if my goal is to shoot the best scores I can shoot, then I had to learn, you know, how to not get so mad. Because it just actually makes you play worse. I've done pretty well with the, like, allow yourself to get as mad as you want for 5 or 10 seconds. And then you just got to start thinking about the next thing. Give yourself a timer. You can even, like, use your phone to time yourself and say, hey, I have 10 seconds. And then you just got to move on to the next shot. Hey, what's up, Pods? Had some family invest in me, so I'm officially making golf full-time so I can pursue going pro. I'm only about to turn 30. Wow, that's very cool, Pods. Very exciting. If I was a better golfer, I would have maybe tried to do something similar. But I only ever got to as good as like +1.5. Hit one singular green, went 10 over. Oh, that's tough. Got my first hole-in-one today. That's incredible, Brick. Wow. How fun is that? I've never made one. I can't wait to make one and come on here and tell you guys about it. There she goes, just like that. See? And then we'll run our drill bit down through there, get the old epoxy out, make it a nice clean surface. We'll throw some sandpaper in there. Off to the races we are. Now we've just got to do it, 5 more times. Lots of tips came from you. Much thanks. Oh, that's awesome, Brick. I really appreciate that. I just try to, you know, I've been sick, like I said, guys, so it's been very inconsistent, but I would like to get back to trying to stream every day and just, you know, show the process of what I'm working on in my game, share the lessons and tips with you guys. It sounds like it got Brick a hole-in-one today. That's pretty cool. Hey, Daniel's here. Happy Friday to you, brother. There's just a very large spider on my computer there. I didn't love that. Favorite courses in the New England area? Well, there's kind of two lists, right? There's, you know, like my favorites around here that I've played. And then there's really more of like an accessible list. Because I've been fortunate to play some really cool golf courses, like Myopia Hunt. It's actually, I think, the hat I'm wearing today. That's one of my favorites. Old Sandwich is incredible. That's, you know, probably top 3 in New England for me. I kind of have to look at a map because I don't remember all the courses until I see the name of them and I go, oh yeah, I've played there. I really, really liked Hyannisport. That was a super cool property. Even though I didn't play particularly well at that golf course. And then in terms of, you know, the accessible ones, right, there's some great golf. You know, like Pine Hills or Red Tail's a favorite of mine. Hizzle says, slow your roll on the heat gun. I know, right? We're going crazy. Nope, it's not ready yet. These are Tacomos, guys. They are coming off. We're going to be putting these, I don't want to catch anything on fire here. These are my old TaylorMade MBs, the blades that I had in the bag for a really long time. I'm going to put these back in the bag. It's mostly to do with this bounce profile here, right? I just need the lower bounce. And, you know, they're going to be a little bit less forgiving, but, you know, as you can see, I've practiced with them quite a lot. And Cena's here from Spain, I think, right? This is non-alcoholic beer. Great eye. This is a Corona NA. I'm a huge fan of the non-alcoholic beer. I've been alcohol-free for 4.5 years now. I just checked. It was something like 1,640 days since I last had a drink, which is pretty exciting. I don't ever intend to go back. I tell people I'm a retired professional. Getting P790s delivered on Monday. Oh, that's cool. Cena says, I'm 1 month sober. I can spot it when I see it. That's awesome, Cena. I'm very proud of you. Congratulations on your 1 month of sobriety. Keep it going. For me, it's really the best decision I ever made. I'm convinced that I don't think I would be here. I'm not sure I'd be alive today if I hadn't quit drinking. And I'm just so grateful that I was able to, you know, stick with it. The thing to remember, guys, is it's just one day at a time. That's all you get to do, right? I didn't, you know, start out thinking, like, oh, I'm going to get to 3 years, 4 years, you know, soon it'll be 5 years. You just say, I'm going to do it today. I'm just going to not drink today. And that's what worked for me. And I just tell myself that every day. And when you break it down into that, you know, pretty manageable, it can be an hour at a time, right? I'm just not going to drink for the next hour. And then I'll feel pretty good, and I'll just do it again for another hour. Sometimes for some people, it is that level of granularity that makes a difference. I would also say for me, I don't tell people like, oh, I don't drink, or I'm not drinking right now. I really had to kind of change my identity, right? I don't drink. That's what I tell people. I don't drink. It's almost as if I'm allergic to it or something, right? Nice and warm. That old ferrule pops off, no problem. Nothing like some nice smell of burnt plastic to keep your afternoon going strong. Okay, so these are all going to have to get drilled out. They're full of epoxy. What clicked for me was alcohol is not your problem, it is your solution. Now I use push-ups, so that works great. Push-ups are way better. Yeah, it was the same thing for me. I think I was mostly self-medicating with alcohol, right? You know, if you are dealing with things or anxiety or depression and you don't want to feel those things, well, alcohol is actually very effective, right? As a product, you know, if you were selling it to people and said, hey, I have something that'll make you, you know, not feel your problems anymore. It's very good at that. It also just comes with, you know, a ton of other negative side effects. Justin said, congrats on your sobriety. Thank you so much. Here in Germany, not drinking is quite harsh because it's just such a common drug. I agree with you. I think it's very strange, right? Alcohol is the only drug that I can think of where you quit doing it and people don't like congratulate you. You know, now it's becoming more common, I think, for people to be sober and choose not to drink. But like if you quit doing heroin, people would be like, oh my God, that's amazing, right? But you tell people you don't drink and they're like, well, why? Why not? What's wrong with you, right? So it is... you know, that is part of the issue, I think, and it's so prevalent, it's so, you know, it's ingrained in our advertising, our cultural habits, right? That's why I still, you know, I like the non-alcoholic beer as a tool, right? Because it helps me feel like I'm still doing and enjoying the things I used to do, right? Like, in, you know, doing something outside on a hot day or, you know, watching a sports game with my friends. I can still do that and have a beer. I just don't deal with the negative ramifications of the alcohol. Is that a Viking axe? No. Buggin says, I drink a fifth after every front nine. That seems like a lot. It does sound like a lot. But I'm not here to judge or, you know, I'm just here to talk about my experience and things that have helped me. You know, there are definitely times in my life where I was like, yo, I have no interest in hearing about, you know, sobriety or anybody telling me to drink less. I would have told you to F off and just, you know, it's hard to change your life and change your identity. There are, you know, there's a cost to that, right? It takes work. There's, you know, pain involved. You know, but you just have to be confident in yourself and that, choices you're making or the person that you want to be, you know, still exists, right? This version of me, this sober version, this very happy, grounded, calm version of John could have never existed years and years ago, right? You know, I would have laughed at you if you said, yeah, you know, you're going to be sober and doing all this great stuff. Whoa, that one went flying. Look at that. All right. Oops. So like that bit of old epoxy will just scrape off. No big deal. Get our surface prepped. Try to get that old epoxy out of there. All right, guys, making good progress here. I'm gonna keep these old heads out of the way. Over this way. Hey, Paul's here. I love non-alcoholic beers now too. I drink only one and it's satisfying. That's amazing. What glue or adhesive will you use? So I have this, this is specifically for golf. It's a high shear epoxy. But I have, you know, I did some research and most epoxies with, you know, highly rated shear strength will be perfectly adequate for shafting golf clubs and, you know, the force that goes into them. Yeah, so it's a two-part epoxy. Ashraf is here. Kazel is here. Hey guys, are you playing golf or something? I guess so. Yeah, usually we do lessons out here and answer questions from the viewers, and I, you know, work on my own game while we're practicing together. But today I'm working on building these new clubs. Is that a cricket club? No, this is a golf club. What would you rather suffer from, alcoholism or never being able to two-putt? You mean like I three-putt everything? I think I would still take that because I have been an alcoholic and I know what that version of my life looks like, and I'm not going back to that. So there's no world in which that's going to be a better choice. Have you tried Athletic Brewing? I have a question about them. I have tried Athletic Brewing. I think their beer is really, really good. But tell me what your question is, Sina. Paul says, you sound better today. Thanks very much, Paul. It's been a slow go. I don't know if I talked about this yet, but you got to be really careful on the golf because I got bit by a tick. And now I'm on these really intense antibiotics and still feeling, a lot of fatigue and but definitely better. So when you guys last heard me, I think that might have been Tuesday, I was really trying to power through it, but not at my best. And it's nice to start feeling a little bit better. This guy's ready. Yes, sir. There we go. Out you go. Have you tried any serious drugs? I don't know what you mean by serious drugs. Definitely, towards the end of when my drinking was really bad, socially, people would, have like party drugs and, but it's not really my thing. Alcohol was always the thing that I was like, could not get enough of it. I was the guy who would, you'd go out, you drink before you go out, and just constantly drinking as much as I possibly could, and then completely shit-faced, get home and go in the fridge and get another beer that often ended up, like having 2 sips taken out of it because I'd pass out on the couch or something. But, yeah, I was just the, like, on-off switch kind of drinker. What else do we have today? Staying positive no matter what comes to him. Yeah, that's exactly it, Buggin', right? When you have some perspective and, I know how amazingly blessed and relatively easy my life is compared to so many people out there, and I try not to take that for granted. I get to hang out here on a nice day in a house that I just bought with my wife, and my 2 dogs are running around, and I get to spend my time, doing this, working on golf clubs, talking to you guys. That's pretty crazy, right? There's millions and billions of people who are like, I'd take that day. So I try to stay pretty grounded and really just try to appreciate the luck and a lot of hard work too. I mean, I don't want to tell people that working hard or pursuing things, like it's all just random luck, but there's a lot of luck involved. And I think acknowledging that and being grateful for, just a ton of blessings is an easy way to make golf, keep it in perspective. And Guinness Zero is also very good, Liam. Hey, Dieter's here. Arnie Schwarzenegger said, hey guys, Stormo's here. What's up? Paul says, I have the final piece to finish your swing. Tell me, I want to know. Alk is the most serious drug and people don't realize, neither do I. Yeah, it is. I mean, it's the most prevalent in our society by a mile. I mean, if you just Google harm index, right, which is how they analyze drugs, and like, something like methamphetamine, right, has a really high, is high on the list because it causes a ton of damage to the user, and impacts their life and finances. But it's not used by that many people, right? So it's a combination of those 2 factors. And if alcohol is number 1 on that list by a mile, right? It's very detrimental to your health, to your maintaining relationships and stability in your life. And it's used by a ton of people. So I'm glad that it's, there's more research being done, and we know now, right? There are basically no positive health effects of using alcohol at all, right? There used to be this kind of pseudo middle ground of like, oh, moderate drinking, maybe is okay. It's not to say that people shouldn't do it, right? But people should make informed decisions, right? And not think that like, oh, I just only have a couple beers, a couple days a week, and like it's not impacting, my body or my sleep or, those sorts of things. And it's just, it's just not the case. You know, there's a lot of negative side effects, and you know, it's so common, right? It's so culturally ingrained in all the things we do socially. You want to go for a drink? We're going to this thing. Want to meet for a drink first? You know, so it's not easy. There we go, guys. Another one free of its shackles. Fat says, I smoke weed and drink and my body would shut down off alk before smoke. Yeah, 100%. 100%. You know, and also I would tell people, if you drink a lot and you're thinking about stopping, like I just quit drinking cold turkey, and that can be dangerous, right? You can have seizures. I didn't know that at the time, and I was fortunate that I didn't have any of those negative side effects when I quit. But I certainly was drinking enough where it should have been a concern, and I should have talked to my doctor. So I do tell people that, like, if you're a heavy drinker and you're going to think about, you know, stopping, there are ways where you can do that safely and to minimize your risk of more serious side effects. So definitely talk to your doctor. Again, that's one of the things, that's why I want to talk about this openly is, you know, if someone had told me, like, hey, you know, quitting drinking would be great, but you have to go to your doctor first, I'd be like, I don't know, that seems scary. Like, you know, no one wants to go to the doctor. But I just didn't have the information. And if I had, you know, I probably would have just done it. Right? You know, and like I said, I want to talk about this stuff because it's not, you shouldn't feel weird if you're like, hey, I want to ask my doctor about how I can drink less. Right? These are things that millions and millions of people experience. And if we don't talk about them, if we just pretend that they're these, you know, mysterious things that only people with, you know, that weirdos and freaks deal with, we're not going to get anywhere. We're not going to make any progress. You know, I had an incredibly functional career. You know, people from the outside looking in would have said, he's doing great. He's crushing it. And I was just a functional alcoholic for years. So, you know, everyone's journey is going to look different. But these are things that people experience that, you know, someone you know has experienced. So I think it's important that we talk about them openly. Hey, Tapas is here. Join your right elbow like glue to the right side of your body. I like that idea a lot, Paul. Yeah, it's been getting a lot better, right? That impact and just kind of really, as I've tried to just slow down and focus on the tempo, it's definitely helped, but definitely a good focus. Do you have any withdrawals after all this time? No, I don't really ever have like cravings or like those days you hear people about where like, man, I just really felt like I needed a drink. But part of that too is I've given myself other tools. I've gone to therapy. I've learned how to manage my stress, and you know, I don't put myself in situations where I might you know, have an issue. But I would even say, you know, I go out to bars with people. I've, you know, been out late at night with friends, and I'm very kind of confident and secure in my sobriety. I just don't, like I said, it's part of my identity. I don't drink. So there's not really a scenario I could imagine where, you know, that would change. But I do tell people it's important that you give yourself other tools. You know, exercise is a great one. Hey, Tom's here. What's up, Tom? Tom and Paul, our Scottish friends, getting caught up. Been a while, Tom. I felt that one on the bus from Glasgow. Very cool. It also helps to be comfortable saying, nah, I'm good when offered drinks. It was hard to say no for a while because I didn't want to be a buzzkill. I think that's a perfectly normal, you know, thing that people experience when they're, you know, when they're early on in not drinking. You know, like the social pressure of like, well, I used to go out and do these things with these people, and there was a lot of drinking involved. Like, will I still like those people? Will they still like me? Will those things still be fun? I think those are perfectly normal questions or things to wonder about. I had the same. I mean, I remember going to the first time I went to a concert, and you know, I'd been sober for a few months, and I was like, man, I just don't know if this will be fun. Like, I'm gonna go, I'm gonna see, you know. And turns out, when you do things that are fun, they're still very fun, even if you're not completely drunk. And you know, but I also had to go through those experiences, right? You know, you could listen to me or somebody like me say, you know, hey, just go out and do it, trust yourself. that you don't need the alcohol. But, you know, you got to get some reps under your belt. The same thing like playing golf. You know, if you're trying to bring your game from a casual player to a tournament, you're trying to play, you know, tournaments to bigger tournaments, you're gonna mess up. I can tell you story after story after story of all the, you know, triple bogeys I made on the 17th hole to miss the cut by one, you know, in different tournaments. But now I look back and, like, you know what? I'm still playing tournaments. I'm still fine. You know, I have that experience, that scar tissue to lean on. And I know that I can still play good golf, and, you know, those mistakes, those moments are going to happen. You just deal with them and you keep moving forward. Tapa said, and then I just stopped caring. Amazing. Hey, thanks for being here, Liam. I appreciate you. Some course design in. That's cool. I'm excited to hear more about your course design. That's very exciting. All right, I need a drill bit, and I'll be right back. Okay, guys, so now what I'm going to do, these should all be nice and cool. I'll show you guys these quick. These are the irons that we're going to be putting in. These are 2011 TaylorMade MBs. Just a straight blade. We're only going to play it down to probably the 6 iron or maybe the 5 iron, so I think that's perfectly fine. You know, I'm really excited about going back to a blade iron, you know, something with a much cleaner, right? Even if we just compare like the 8 irons, that's a 7 iron, but close enough. I mean, look at the bounce profile, the different, you know, on these irons. So for me, you know, my miss is to be a little bit steep. This should be easier for me to manage. And not to mention, we got these pretty sweet new green ferrules that are going to go on, so I'm excited about that. We are going to take out the old irons, get them all prepped and ready to go. The 4 irons staying in there. And then these Tacomos can go back in the box from whence they came. Oops, we need this. That is going on. Tom says, I'm on a bus. Not really bothered if it rains or not. That's a great perspective, Tom. Okay. So let's just get these all lined up. 6. Oops. That's the old one. 9. Oops. 7. 6, 5. And this is going to be our pitching wedge, guys. This 46-degree Vokey. Throwing that one back in the bag. So we'll start there on the short end. And grab our drill. We can unplug our heat gun because we're done using this guy. And to be honest with you guys, like if I had taken these clubs to get reshafted at a golf store, I mean, it might have cost me $250. So for, you know, $50 in materials and equipment to be able to do this kind of thing yourself, can be a really nice way to, you know, put some money back in your pocket to play more golf. All right, so here's the one we're going to do first. This is the pitching wedge. Just got to get that old epoxy out of there. Make sure we have a good, solid bonding surface for our new club. Sahil says, I'd love to be a mod for you one day because I love what you're doing. I'll keep coming till I am, but I'm going to go for now, bro. Have a good stream. Hey, you know what, Sahil? If you're going to keep coming back, bro, we haven't given anyone a mod in a while. But Tom is here today. Tom's doing great, which is awesome. Are you religious or not really? No, not really. I grew up Catholic. I went to Catholic school for a little while in high school. Got a nice clean surface in there, guys. Make sure we don't leave these old ferrules out here. Don't want a beer to get warm either. Is this your TaylorMade irons, bud? Yes, exactly. These are the TaylorMade MBs. So you can see the difference, guys. Let's just grab pitching wedge. Everyone except the one that I'm looking for, of course. 8. So this is the difference, right? This is the 9-iron from the Takomos. This is the TaylorMade 9-iron. You can see the difference in the top line, right? Look how, this one's a bit thicker. This iron also has a bigger profile in the back here, right? Whereas this is pretty much just a straight blade. Pretty similar heel to toe, right? And just an overall smaller profile on the TaylorMade. So we're gonna work on getting these all cleaned up and ready to go. Also, shout out to Heaven Sent. No sponsorship or anything, guys. I just bought this with my own money because I like the t-shirt. Check them out. Doing good stuff. Trying to, just help people be people. Which is something that I feel strongly about. Hey, Sahil's excited to be a mod. That's awesome. Thanks for being here, Sahil. Appreciate you. We'll see you next time. Yeah, so the good news, Paul, is that I've played these irons. I used them in college for a while, and I had a different set, and now these. So I'm very comfortable with these. These are also bent, I think, a little bit flatter than the Takomos, which I'm excited about. That should, just make things a slightly, tiny bit easier. But mostly this bounce is what has been frustrating me about the Takomos, right? The turf interaction isn't my favorite. Whereas with these, it's just, a little bit easier to kind of make crisp contact. I know it's counterintuitive to say, like, a blade could be more forgiving, but I'm pretty sure that's going to be my experience. E pluribus unum, exactly right. Jason said legal immigrants. Well, we don't have to agree, Jason. I guess I don't really care that much about an imaginary line on the ground, in a place where, guess what, my ancestors aren't from here. You know why all these things resonate with me and why, you guys see me post, like, about the genocide in Gaza and this stuff, right? That happened to my ancestors. The Irish were also occupied and starved by an occupation force. And my ancestors had to leave. They came here. And they faced, a lot of racism. My grandfather told me stories about impossible work. And there would be signs that said, no Irish need apply. Just blatantly, you can't work here if you're Irish. And that wasn't that long ago, right? And we look back with pride on our ancestors, right, who made this crazy journey across the Atlantic. Again, to a country that was occupied by people before them. Let us not forget, there were, hundreds of thousands or millions of indigenous people living here before Europeans showed up. So I guess I just don't care that much about a made-up line on the ground that we're now using to terrorize people and tear them from their families. So, yeah, we don't have to agree, and that's okay. I don't think history will be kind to this period and the people who are doing awful things. You know, we're all going to be gone someday, but history will remember. Get out of here, spider. Poquito said, want to know something. Sycamore says, I'm Irish. I know what you're talking about. Yeah, exactly. Bro, I grabbed some NA for a gathering. People were asking why. I enjoyed them and drove home. Amazing, Sly. That's great. Hey, Poquitos is this new subscriber. Amazing. Thank you so much for being here. We've had a ton of growth on the channel recently, guys, and I can't thank you enough for, you know, all the support, all the nice comments, and you know, people liking the videos, engaging with the, you know, the topics, the questions. You know, everybody showing up for the live streams to hang out. You know, I'm continuously just really blown away by how much support you guys have shown, and I'm very grateful, you know, for all the support. So I'm gonna keep showing up for you guys. You guys keep showing up for me. That's the deal. All right, guys. So now's the fun part. What I need to do is not forget to put the ferrules on, because I've done that before, and it feels very dumb. Sly says, salute to you, put me on. Amazing, Sly. I'm really happy that that you're having a good experience with it, right? And, you know, once you realize, people just go, oh, what are you're not drinking today? Okay, no big deal, right? People generally are about 90% concerned with themselves, I think. And anybody who, you know, truly gives you a hard time about not drinking is maybe not somebody that you'd want to spend a bunch of time with anyway. How do you make custom ones? So that's what we're doing today. That's what we've been working on. What we did was we took the old ones off. We used the heat gun, pop those apart, take them off. We're going to use the same shafts. We're going to get them ready. Got some sandpaper here, just to make sure this part is nice and ready. Right, these ferrules are going to slide over like this. We'll put some epoxy in the middle of those as well. Get these, you know, the club and the shaft epoxied up as well. All right, guys, let's get started with the fun part. I'm going to throw these gloves on. Whoops. I'm going to do one at a time. That's a 7, 8. Where's my pitching wedge shaft? Nope. It's got to be this one. Yes, there we go. All right, nice. So we got those all. My mother-in-law. Oh, that's funny. Davey says, do you ever get the yips? I've definitely had periods. I can remember one tournament specifically where I missed like 1,000 putts inside of 4 feet. But no, like I was saying earlier, I think, you know, having a perspective that's bigger than golf makes it really easy to be like, oh, well, I missed that putt. Like, you know, my family's still gonna be excited to see me when I get home, and you know, I still have tons of things to be grateful for, and it's just not gonna ruin my day, which I think helps a lot with the mental side of things. All right, so that's pretty much ready to go. Just give this one quick little kind of wiggle with some sandpaper. Should be good to go, which is great. I still didn't grab the stirrer, which I need. Careful, buddy. What are you doing? I know, we had to go get some stirrers for our epoxy. Do you get them in your right hand? Is bro welding? Nice job. Maybe that's funny. No welding, but we're going to use this epoxy to get the clubs put back together. This can go here. That's fine. Okay. So, like I said, what we're going to do, got our 3 components, right? This ferrule just goes on the shaft. Just going to make sure one more time that we have the correct shaft, and we do. I'm actually going to move all the other ones out of the way so I don't get it mixed up. And then we're going to pour equal parts of both sides of this guy. Just like that. We're going to do enough for 1 club at a time, which I usually is, you know, maybe about that amount. $50 size, give or take. And then, okay. So we're going to use this, stir it together very thoroughly to ensure you get a nice connection, you know, bond between. Alright, so we're going to put some of this in there. This is going to go on. Oops. Try not to get it on your hands. I should put my gloves on. Alright. So do that. We'll get a whole bunch of this, as much as we can, in that shaft there. Whoops. And then we're going to also get some in here in that club head. Just like that. And then we just make sure that it's seated all the way in there. Oh, we'll use the old towel. Get that old epoxy cleaned off of there. And that's it, guys. Look how good that looks. Got this new green and yellow ferrules on there. And then the last piece is I like to make sure that the logo on the grip is down. So these grips have obviously already been installed. We're gonna make sure they stay that way. You know what, I'm actually not convinced that I got quite enough of that epoxy in there, so we're gonna mix up a little bit more. Whoops. Here we go. Always liked using these plastic utensils. Don't have to worry about them going anywhere. Ah, there we go. All right. Like I said, we'll make sure that logo is down. Perfect. And then we'll just leave them to dry. So find a place. You know what we'll do? Just find some place to set them down nice and flat, and that's easy, guys. What are you making? Oh, we are making new golf clubs. So next we're gonna grab our 9-iron shaft. You guys already saw me drill these out. Right hand is the root of all evil, so yeah, I agree with you. People are missing you swinging a golf club, bro. Yeah, I think that's probably true. This is definitely something different, so I appreciate you guys sticking with me for the stream tonight. You know, we had a lot of fun streaming while we were building or putting new grips on before. So I thought, you know, let's just try it and see how it goes. But I know people are mostly here to watch me swing. Thought you were on the wagon. Oh, this is a non-alcoholic Corona, my dude. Yeah, no alcohol. I do really like the non-alcoholic stuff. Hey, Scott said hi. Hey, Scott. Here we go. Make sure we get all the way down in there. All right, and then we go ferrule. Our club there. 2. Oops. All right, get that mixed up. Go and get as much of that down in there as we can. This stuff really is starting to cure very quickly. Go and get our shafts. A whole bunch of that epoxy in there as well. Get our ferrule on there. And boom, she's in. Wipe off the extra epoxy there. Yeah, how nice does that look, guys? Look at these new green and yellow looking slick on there. Right now we just gotta line up. Make sure the grip is down. Look at that. Beautiful. This epoxy says it sets in 10 minutes and is fully cured, but they usually say 24 hours is your best bet. Okay. I'm gonna lay these down somewhere flat. And then we'll grab the 8-iron next. These tips are already in pretty good shape. Trucker Belly's here. Jason says, new here, wondering if you had an idea of how to fit your own clubs. I learned, different things over the years, but mostly, when I got fit for clubs, I went to a place like Club Champion where they, let you test all this stuff. You get to hit on TrackMan. And once you learn what the, the different data points are and what you're looking for, whether it's the ideal spin rate for your irons or peak height, descent angle, or with your driver, like launch angle and spin rate, you can definitely get a sense. And, now I just rent TrackMan and chess clubs on my own. Trucker Billy is about to use my new Rapsoda. Hopefully grind for the next 5 hours still gets dark. I didn't know Corona made near beers. Yeah, they do. CG says, hey, I'm a new viewer. Love your videos and your shorts and now your lives. Amazing. Thanks so much. Yeah, it's been a mix, right? I told you guys, that I've been really had this tick-borne illness, and it really when you're laying in bed, you can make a lot of shorts and videos, but live streaming is my favorite. And we try to live stream every day. Like I said recently, it hasn't happened that way, but there's still some of that old. All right, I think that should be pretty good. Okay. Oops, make sure we grab proper ferrule. There we go. That was much better. Just getting as much of that epoxy in there as we can. And then grab our shaft, get as much in there as we can as well. Nice. Don't forget your ferrule. And you're in business. There we go. Make sure our shaft is lined up the way we want it. Boom. Look at that, brand new. By new, I mean old. But, damn, if that isn't a sexy iron, whew, look at that. Paul says, all right, people, let's get some likes in here for John. The boy's working hard. Thanks very much, Paul. I get that this isn't the usual programming, but we're doing our best. Oh, I've seen those. I have used those in the past, Trucker Belly. Those, they're called glass beads. It's almost like a powder. And it just, helps that the epoxy, maintain its strength. But it's definitely not necessary. I've shafted clubs with and without it. Hey, thanks very much for all the likes, guys. If you guys are enjoying the stream, or you've been enjoying the recent videos on the channel, hit that subscribe button for me. Really does help us out, guys. We're rocketing towards 4,000 subscribers, which is just, it sounds silly or crazy for me to even say that, given feels like we just started not that long ago. Oops. You know what? I'm just gonna go like that because this is going in the trash. All right, we've just confirming we've got our 7-iron shaft. I am actually gonna not be a dummy, finally put these on. I'm excited to hear how your Rapsodo journey goes, Trucker Belly. I've been, since we bought the house, I haven't had as much extra cash laying around, you could say. So it's not been in my budget to get a launch monitor, but obviously, you know, with this space, to be able to hit balls out here and then actually get some data, that would be super cool. So I'm hoping we can just keep, you know, growing the platform and the channel, and somebody like Rapsodo might come along and say, hey, you know what? This actually might be a good way to showcase our product and, you know, an at-home type of solution. You know, and partner up with one of those groups to get a launch monitor out here. Nice. Okay, we've got our 3 components, 7 iron, and our ferrule. So let's go ahead and get going here. Okay. That's not going to be enough. There we go. Okay. Nice. Oops. Gotta get the air pocket on the side to get as much of that glue on the inside of this club head as we can. That's nice. We're gonna roll and scoop the shaft. There's a lot of excess there, so I'm gonna let some of it just kind of go down in there. Okay, now ferrule time. There we go. Nice sturdy. Come on, club shaft. You can do it. This one does not want to get fully seated for some reason. This one we might have to come back and try again. Oops. Yeah, see, it's definitely not seated. I wonder if it's because the ferrule is already stuck. Might not have gone fast enough with the quick setting epoxy, guys. Well, that's why we have extras. Just have to get that cleaned off and try again. See if we can get this guy off. No, I think that's what happened exactly. I think it got stuck. I think he sells these clubs to Trump. Definitely not. Alright, so we'll go to the 6 iron next. We're going to have to come back to the 7. Good reminder to not dilly-dally. 6 iron here. It's also, it's non-alcoholic beer, if that helps. There we go. There might still be a little bit more. All right. Just gotta keep everything moving. Get a little bit more. It's the 7 that we need to come back to. 2. Okay. Okay. Get that ready. Right. It's going to go like that. Boom. There we go. Seated nicely. Get a good wipe. And we'll make sure that the grip is aligned. Boom. See? Sometimes you just got to mess it up to learn how to, you know, what you got to do different. Gosh, I'm so excited for these. They're going to look so good. Boom. Check that out, guys. Time to go practice. Need the phone. 4 and 4. I'll check in a break. Good luck with the 7-iron. Thanks, Trucker Belly. Appreciate you. Paul says your channel will go from strength to strength, bud. You're very relatable and you explain very well. Oh, I appreciate that, Paul. $5,000 to the 5K subscriber. Are you paying them, Trucker Belly? Nice. Wow, that looks so good. Really excited about how these are coming out. Now we're going to do the 5-iron. Anything to put off coming back to that busted 7. Hey, Sycamore, thanks for checking out the stream tonight, my guy. I appreciate you. We are working hard out here trying to get these last couple of clubs. As you can tell, sometimes there's a lot of that old epoxy in there. And I think that's maybe what went wrong with the 7-iron also. You know, there's definitely a chance that we didn't get her cleaned out as much as we needed to. Yeah, so now I'm starting to see the bottom of that hosel in there. Are you dying to hit them? Oh, Paul, you have no idea. I'm really trying to convince myself to wait till tomorrow to hit them because, you know, I just want to make sure that they're fully kind of cured. But I mean, this says, it says it's fully cured in 10 minutes. So it's, I mean, if that's what it says, it's not going to get more cured after more time. This seems like it would be easier in a drill press. You're 100% correct, it would be. And if I had a drill press, we would be probably using it. Okay. So that's ready, I think. We've got our 5-iron shaft here. Hit it with a tiny bit of that sandpaper just for good measure. Pop this guy one more time. All right, gotta work quick. Got our ferrule. You only need one to try. Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point. I could, you know, if the head goes flying, then we'll know they're not ready, and we could try that one again. Although, yeah, I think that the club head would probably just hit the net. All right, that's looking good. Get this clean and ready to go. I think we're gonna have just the perfect amount for what we needed here tonight. Okay. Man, it is crazy how fast this this one starts to cure. Okay. Ferrule goes on. Keep it moving here. Keep it moving. Yeah, there we go. Nice. Beautifully seated on that one. Got it right to where it needed to go. Nice. Get this shaft lined up nicely. Boom. Look how crispy that looks, guys. If I was really on my game, I would have had one of those black ink pens and I could have, you know, gone and refilled all of these. Goofy Goober said hi. Hey, Goofy Goober. Man, tell you what, it's going to be nice to look down at these behind the ball again. Okay, now it's time to try and fix our mistake, deal with this 7-iron. That's mostly dried on there, unfortunately. Well, see, it's not really stuck to anything, so this bit might come off. Not so bad. Okay. First of all, pop this heat gun back on. Try to save the ferrule, but doubt it will stay one piece for us. Hey, Stinka said hi. What's up, Stinka? All right, let's see if that will pop off. Yeah, nice. All right, we could probably save this one as a backup. Use a nice fresh one. Just hit it with a little more sandpaper. So that could have been worse on the shaft side of things. Now here's where we're gonna have to yeah. Hey, Stinka's trying to gas up the chat to like. I appreciate that, Stinka. Thank you very much. I know this isn't a usual stream. If you guys have stuck around this long, we probably will hit some balls. Try these new clubs. I'm not gonna be able to contain myself and wait for them to, you know, be guaranteed to be dry and ready to hit. So you know what? We're gonna risk it. Risk it for the biscuit. Because, whoops, don't want that in there. Alright, well, that hasn't worked as well as I might have hoped. Thank you guys for all the likes on the stream, all the new subscribers. We were so close to getting this done in a nice orderly fashion. One nice thing I suppose you could say is that it's the 7-iron that it's probably the club I hit the least out of all my irons, if you made me pick one. Oh yeah, that's nice. We'll get this sandpaper in there. No Rona on deck. I've never heard it called that. No Rona. That's really good. Yeah, I'm due for another one. This one's pretty much empty. No Rona. I'm gonna steal that if you don't mind, Vince. Thank you very much for the good shout. Is that the bottom of the hosel? Yeah, I think it is. Okay. I'll hit it one more time just to make triple sure. Boy, I tell you what, guys, that is how you make a real mess for yourself. Let's give it another go. Got our ferrule here. Shaft. We're going to get one more batch of this epoxy going. This stuff is no joke, let me tell you what. terms of how fast it starts to cure. Alright, so we're going to go get some of this guy down in there. Lovely. Lovely. A little more. Okay. Shaft. Trying to fill that up. We're working quickly, working quickly. Boom. Man, something about this 7-iron. Just does not want to get all the way in there. I wonder if it's still having a tough time. Hey, we've got a gay expert in here. Yasser. CJ's in here. Hey, CJ. Yeah, I remember you. What's up, dude? Thanks for being here. Oh, massively annoying. All right, so that's off. Let's see if it will go all the way down without the ferrule. Just use some like process of elimination. Although you know what, it's gonna be still full of epoxy in there, isn't it? Oh, well, we've made quite a mess with the 7-iron. It's unfortunate. I'm gonna let this dry for just a few minutes and then come back to it. You know what we're gonna do in the meantime, guys? We're gonna try to hit some of these clubs. Take these guys off. Clean up some of this stuff here. Blender says, hey dude, I sip on those NA Coronas too, 63 days. Hey dude, congrats on 63 days. That's amazing. I know how difficult it can be in those early days. I'm in the 1600 day range, you know, about 4.5 years. This stuff has been a really helpful tool for me in my sobriety journey. You know, still feel like I can enjoy a beer, you know, go out and do the things I used to do and have a beer and but not have to worry about the alcohol. So tons of benefits. Oh, that's frustrating. The 7-iron giving us a ton of grief. I don't think the tip is bent or anything. Huh. Well, I'm just gonna have to let that epoxy dry in the head, drill it out again. I think we're gonna have to go get the other bit of epoxy, unfortunately, which is a huge bummer. That would have been the perfect amount for this amount of clubs had we not needed the redo on this one a couple times. Very frustrating. But you know what, guys? There's lots of bigger problems out there in the world, and we'll get this sorted out. Sure of it. Thanks for coming to my defense, guys. Not everybody's gonna like, you know, my vibe or tattoos. And you know what? Those aren't my kind of people either. So that's a good, it all kind of works itself out, doesn't it? All right, so these I'm gonna keep over here. Those we can move out of the way. think probably like 10-15 minutes we can hit for, and can grab a glove here. What should we grab, like a 9-iron? That one's probably ready by now. That's so funny. Hey, CAR Legends is here. What's up, Car Legends? Alright, we're going to try the 9-iron. That one seems like it should be good to go. And this is what it looks like, guys, now that it's done. Got these new cool green and yellow ferrules on there. The first one you did. So I think that was the pitching wedge. If I really want to be specific, it was the pitching wedge. This was the first one we did. Oh, we've dropped the 6-iron onto the ground. Did it have any issues? I don't think so. Okay, so this is... Don't need these tags now that the clubs are done. Wow, that looks so good, guys, behind the ball. Head hasn't gone flying just yet. These bugs out of here. Don't want to rip my band. Well, the head didn't go flying. That's pretty exciting. Look at that, guys. In just a matter of minutes. We've got some new clubs shafted up, some new irons ready to go. Yeah, it feels very solid on there. They say quick dry, they mean quick dry. It said 10 minutes. Didn't need more than that. Ooh, I tell you what though, this illness is really taking it out of me. Still waiting to find out exactly which one, whether it's the Lyme disease or one of the other ones that the ticks can give you. But it messed me up pretty bad, guys. Mostly just this, like, really intense fatigue. Yeah, I just was so tired, couldn't get out of bed. My poor wife, she's been a superhero while I've been under the weather. But that is why I married her, because she's amazing. Paul wants me really keeping that elbow in here. Oh, he just looks so good behind the ball. Caitlin wants to know, what size is your enclosure there? So this is it was sold as a 10 by 20, and then we only built it out to 15 feet, so there was another section that could have been attached. So it's currently, I think, 15 by 10. And my only word of warning is, if I could do it over again, I probably would have set my hitting area slightly further this way, just so that the top of my swing, you know, more was in the highest part of the opening. And you probably can't see, but there's a small tear over here from where I've hit the ceiling. the top of the tent with just with driver. With every other club, it's been fine. But swinging drivers, if I'm not paying attention and if I'm not, you know, far enough over to the side, you know, I've hit the top on the follow through. Also, guys, I have a tournament, a qualifier coming up next Wednesday, which I'm going to be trying to get ready for. Obviously not ideal to, you know, be ill and not able to practice just a few days before a qualifier, but that's life sometimes, you know. You just got to do the best you can. Yeah, this feels really solid. I think these are good to go. I'm going to try the 9-iron. James is here. The follow-through takes care of itself. Oh, mainly on the backswing. I see what you're saying. Just keep it really kind of compact. Let's grab that 9-iron that I just had. I'll give that one a rip. Probably start putting these back in my bag, too. Very cool. Oops, don't need this on there anymore either. Hit some 9-irons. Oh, just the look of a pure blade. It's what I really prefer. I try to convince myself, you're like, hey, you know, you don't play that much anymore, you don't practice, just get something forgiving. Nah, guys, blades are where it's at. I can just already tell, you know, there's something about the focus it requires, and really, you know, just oh. I didn't know what that noise was. Oh yeah, I'm excited to see. Seems really solid, really good to go, guys. So what was I talking about? Oh, this qualifier. Yeah, so the golf course, I haven't seen the golf course yet, but it's very, very narrow, very tight off the tee, a lot of blind tee shots. So we're gonna try to get out there for a practice round beforehand. Oh, tell you what though, when you just stand there and work on clubs for an hour and then you're like, oh, you know, I'll start swinging. I'm like, why does my body not feel great? Caitlin says, considering putting up my own, our max size without a permit is 160 square feet. Oh, that could probably work, 10 by 16. Have you ever put one through the upper opening? No, I have not. Before we had the enclosure, I think I did hit one over the fence by mistake with a wedge, like on like a flop shot. Feels really good, guys. Man, just how good. I want you guys to see, like, imagine you're looking down. This is the 9-iron. It's hard to get it. Right? It's just so clean. Nice clean top line. All right, so that one's good to go. Let's hit the 8-iron next. That one should be good too. Hey, Bubba. What are you doing? You want to come say hi? Come here, boy. Come on. You want to say hi to the people? Come here, boy. What are you doing? What? Why? You want to do a hug? You want to do a hug? Come up here. Yeah? You want to jump up? Oh, thank you. She says, no, I want to sniff. No, I want to sniff. Yeah, say hi to the people. You're a superstar. You're a superstar. I know. They're like, we came to watch golf, not see your dogs, but you're the best. You're the best. Yeah. Knocking me over. Whew. All right, so this is the new 8-iron, guys. Hey, buddy. How do you transfer hitting to the net to the course? Well, obviously there's certain, parts that aren't going to translate, right? I can't hit off of uneven lies or, rough or that sort of stuff. So I think it's one part, understanding what you can work on and doing that stuff, right? I do a lot of technique work, working on impact, right? Making sure that I'm consistently delivering the center of that face onto the ball, right? That skill is always going to translate. And, I think for me, it's been a really good tool. How do you fix your slice? So you got to get the club face closed, practice hitting the ball, learn how to hit some big hooks, and then it'll be much easier to hit the ball straight, right? So you could aim, straight and then force yourself to hit it like into the left trees, just within the confines of your own swing and skill level, right? Learn how to get that ball turning right to left. The only problem with keeping the right elbow so in is it feels really handsy is what I would say. It feels like I'm not really able to turn quite as much, but maybe that's okay. So the right elbow stays close in. Did anybody watch the football game last night? I'm excited for more NFL tonight. Really is the best time of the year. Fresh NFL season. Fall golf is coming, guys. Ryder Cup this month. Also, if you're excited about the Ryder Cup, September is not just for the Ryder Cup. September is Suicide Prevention Month. My DMs are always open on Instagram if you're having a hard time. 988, I think, is the hotline to text. We can make sure that there's some resources put in the chat. Don't be going through hard stuff alone, right? It takes a lot of strength to ask for help. I've had to do that myself. I've been in that tough spot before. And just, we're happy you're here. I'm proud of you. So, it's okay to struggle, but you just got to ask for help. Use the right side of your stomach. Okay. You have spinach in your teeth. Well, I definitely don't. Dak spit on him first. Yeah. You are, in fact, not right. That's good. So I was right, hit it left. I'm left-handed, started to golf this year. Hit my iron straight, but sliced my driver every hit I play well and score around 88 to 95. How can I fix this slice? So again, you got to get that club face closed sorcery, right? If the my handicap's usually around 0. Played this year off of more like 2 because I haven't played much golf, but usually in that range, you know, +1 to 1 or 2, something like that. Right, if you're a lefty and you're slicing it, the ball's going that way. You got to learn, you know, aim straight, force yourself to hit it into the right trees, right? Learn how to hit some big hooks, get that club face shut, right? And then you can start to dial in. I want you to build the skill set. You know how to deliver a face and path angle that produces a big slice. Learn how to hit the opposite one, right? And build your skills. You know, the whole idea and ultimately where you want to get to is being able to, on command, deliver a face and path combo that will produce the shot you want, right? Whether that's a fade or a draw. And within your own swing, your own athletic ability, you have to be able to alter that face and path combo, right? So I could give you a great drill that would have you, you know, not slice the ball in about 2 minutes, right? But if you don't have an understanding of why it's happening and how to actually build your skill set, I think you're worse off. So I think giving yourself a task orientation. Oh yeah, guys, you hear that sound? That's the sound of a blade. Just that thuddy. It's just a really nice sound. I'm trying not to be too despondent about getting that 7-iron to work, because it is annoying me, but I'm having too much fun hitting these new clubs at the moment. And they're not new, obviously, right? I mean, I've hit them a lot. You know, somebody had these before me, and I've hit them for years and years and thousands of range balls. Thank you, John. Oh, JW, you're welcome. Suki says anti-shank tips. So if you're shanking it, right, all that tells us that, you know, it's an exaggerated heel strike, right? You know, you're not hitting on the toe, you're hitting it really just super far on the heel, right? Well, what I would tell you is you need to learn how to move your strike pattern around the face, right? Can you do less talking and more twerking, please? Right, so I would tell you, you know, go to the range, tell yourself, I'm going to hit 20 balls in a row off the toe, as far on the toe as I can, right? And if your current miss is a shank, right, or, you know, just an exaggerated heel strike, by trying to move your strike pattern out to the toe, you're going to end up hitting a bunch of them in the center, right? But that can be a really good intention. My miss is the opposite. I miss it on the toe, or I have been, you know, most of this year, right? So when it's getting really far out there, what I'll tell myself is, okay, we're going to hit this one right out of the heel. And by giving myself that intention, right, that was hit directly out of the center of the face. Not even, you know, not a tiny bit to the heel or the toe, but my intention was hitting it out of the heel, right? So don't be afraid to use that. If you know, you say your strike pattern's getting really close to the hosels, making you nervous, just say, okay, I'm going to hit this one out of the toe. And just hit some toe, you know, give yourself that intention. Rich says, a little advice going into the finals of my course. I play in the last spot, struggle off the tee. Any advice for a rookie? Yeah, so my advice, Rich, if you're struggling off the tee, is learn how to swing at a speed where you can keep the ball in play, right? It might be truly 65 or 70% of your max speed, right? But if you get up there and you swing at 100% with your driver and you have no idea where it's going to go, then you're not going to be able to play golf. You know, when I'm on the course, I feel like my driver speed is about 85%. Because that's the speed where I know, and it's still going to be a, you know, 60, 70 yard wide dispersion pattern, right? But I can control that dispersion and aim it, and that's for me is 80 to 85%. So you have to be able to dial down to a speed where you can keep the ball in play, because if you're hitting the ball out of bounds, if you're hitting it in hazards, you're not really going to be able to play golf, or at least, you know, score and play competitively. I've also really been trying to get, you know, I have this really like hunched posture, and it's just so hard to focus on it on the course, right? To really that was hit well. Alright guys, I think we're going to hit a few more balls and then turn the stream off because it is getting at the top of the hour here. Exciting that we got most of the new clubs shafted up and ready to go. I'm going to have to do some more work on this 7-iron here, unfortunately, to get it back in fighting shape, but these other clubs I think should be good to go. Right, it's certainly been 10 minutes, one would say. Let's give them a hit. Let's hit this 6-iron and then the 5 as well. Look at that, guys. That's the 5-iron. Just a nice, clean, no gimmicks, just a blade. Sorcerer wants to know, what's your best score? My lowest score ever is 64. That was 6 under par. On a pretty easy golf course, to be fair, but still, 64 was a good number. On a, you know, a real, quote-unquote, real golf course, you know, like 6,500 yards or longer, I think 67 or 68. But that's just for now. We're going to put up some good scores before too much longer here, guys. We've been grinding on the game, hitting it really solid. Missed some time while I was on vacation and then with this illness, but we're going to come back September and October. We're going to try to play a bunch of golf, film some great content. Gosh, you hear that sound, guys? I hope you can hear it on the microphone, just how pure, how nice. Just got these shafted up today. Thrilled with how they came out. Look at the profile on this, just super clean top line. Working off a mat like that has me terrified. The feelings are not the same off grass, and the contact is always easy to get off the mat. You hit the exact same spot on the net twice. That's crazy. Yeah, well, that's what we're looking for. I understand your concern, Devin, but you know, it has really been a great tool for me, right? Especially working on fundamentals like impact. You know, it's a great way to work on drills and technical stuff without the, you know, worrying about a target or where the ball's going. You do still need to go to the driving range, right? See the ball fly through the air. Make sure that nothing crazy is happening. But for me, I think it's been a really, really good tool to have at home. I also just practice more, right? I can't pay $20 every day. You know, that's be like $100 a week to go to the driving range. But I can definitely practice every day out here. And it's not for everyone, right? You know, not everybody wants to practice their golf every day. Some people want to play once a week. They don't want to practice. That's totally fine, right? But I have the bug, right? I want to be the best I can, you know, and for me, playing good golf will be like +2, +3 handicap. I know I can be that good. It's just not that far away. Oh, I'll probably be done in like 5 minutes. And I have a little more work to do, so probably 10 minutes.
I got that screw out.
Oh, you did? Nice. Yeah, we can do that when I come in. Have you eaten?
What?
Have you eaten?
No, I'm hungry.
Okay. Jake doesn't like the shirt. Joe doesn't like the shirt either. Well, you know what? That's okay. Because it's not for you guys. It's for me, and I'm going to keep wearing it. I would go so far as to say, you're just wrong. That's okay too, you know? It's okay to be wrong about things. But don't take it any further because I'm not tolerating any racist, anti-immigrant nonsense. Quickest way to get banned from this chat, say some dumb shit like that. The ball's coming off the face faster. Rich said, makes sense, grab a wood. I'm actually too excited, Rich. I'm going to keep hitting these irons. I see what you're saying, Paul, with more of that, like, kind of winds up and then through impact you just unleash it. Like that. It feels a little strange, but the contact was super solid. White, black, pink, yellow, green. Devin says, great tempo. Thanks, Devin. Appreciate you. Oops. We're not going to do that. I just want to go watch the swing again. Yeah, it does. I mean, it feels different, but it looks really good. What's your typical miss? My typical miss is on the toe in kind of like an overdrawing shot. That one didn't feel super great. Yeah, that was nice. All right, we'll hit a couple 5-irons, and then I'm gonna have to go figure out how to get that 7-iron shafted up. Come on, bugger, stay in there. There we go. Oh, you know why? There's a golf ball in the way. Silly John. Silly John. Just want to see how you come down on a wood versus a wood. I still have the clubs I bought from a garage sale in 1991. Their blades still in decent shape. I kind of want to rebuild them. You could. Eyes, always eyes. I do that sometimes. I just take my eye off the ball, which is strange. Miss for a good player, but like that was out of the toe a bit for sure. It's all about tempo, guys. What do I always say? It's all about tempo. These have been hit nicely. Just gotta keep your eye on the ball. How did that look, guys? That one felt really nice. Probably a good one to end on. Well, if you guys stuck around this long, you look like a rapper, not a golfer. Yeah, it's funny you say that. People say I look like Timu, Tommy Fleetwood, or Sugar Sean O'Malley. But not a golfer. I get not a golfer a lot. So, rock on. You know what you have done wrong straight away? Yes. All right, guys. Thank you so much for being here, sticking with me through this club shafting endeavor, and then testing out the new clubs, hitting some balls. But we will see you next time. If you guys have more questions, you know, hit me up on Instagram or drop a comment on the YouTube videos. We will see you soon, guys. Thanks for being here. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already.